here live, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It is 10:12. I promise you, one of these days we're going to get this working properly. And I'm going to tell you right now, what's really awesome is that there were no major problems. There was just one little tiny problem. My hair wasn't right. I had to put some mousse in my hair and get a spike. And that way, I didn't get a chance to go to the barber this past weekend. So I'm a little bit of a diva when it comes to things like this, I got to make sure I've got my coffee, which is really seltzer, and it's not something else. So, welcome everybody to Fan. We are here today. It is just me, so you're going to get a lot of this camera angle, along with my brethren from across on the West Coast, my boy Calvin. What is up, man?
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Calvin, and unlike the Houston Astros, I ain't cheating you out of nothing. Hashtag cheap shot.
Ooh, that was just mean. I don't know why you had to do that to them, but they deserve it. Okay, they 100% deserve it. So definitely, anybody who is joining and watching right now, please love the video. Like the video with the little like button, the little thumbs up button. Share us, because we love when you share us, and tell a friend. You could just say, oh, there's this really diva host who likes to get his hair done on the air and stuff like that. We don't care. That's great. We'll get more viewers. And make sure you follow us at Fan to Fan Show on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I know there's other social media, but we haven't gotten there yet because we're making sure that we do the first three, and then we'll get to those later. Another thing, definitely subscribe to the channel, because we need subscribers. Subscribers are always great, and we want a following. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're not going to blast you with non-stop, like, oh, Fan to Fan is putting this up now. No, it doesn't work like that. You subscribe, it just helps us to grow a little bit, and you don't get bothered. You get bothered like once a week, which is tonight. So, that being said, I'm hoping that everybody is really good out there, and I'm hoping that everybody is having a great time with everything that is going on. I am going to pick a topic, and as we start every show, we start off with a little bit of a piece of a thought, which at the end of the show, we have a little bit of an announcement. We're going to elaborate on other stuff, more content that is coming to you from Fan to Fan. Today, this past weekend, we just had what I like to call one of the most exciting all-star games in the history of sports. And I was very shocked, because I'm a big baseball fan. But it was the NBA that actually made this happen. So we had an all-star game, and a lot of people thought it was going to be an exhibition. A lot of people felt that it was going to be complicated because there was a lot of rules to commemorate. But it started Friday when we had the Rising Stars Challenge, and as you could see, there was a star that was rising, okay? And there was tons of star power, tons of action. One Nick bright spot was R.J. Barrett actually showing up. Zion Williamson doing what he does best, which is wowing the crowd. Trae Young and Luka Doncic showing what they're capable of. And then we get into the skills challenge, which a surprise person won it, a Miami person. And then after that, we get into the three-point contest, one of the most exciting three-point contests I had in a while, and then a dunk contest that was mired in controversy. I'm the best dunker in the world. Nobody can top me, and that's a fact, except Mr. Miami, you are not. Somebody did top you because he dunked over a 7'6" guy. He topped everyone in that moment. He was the true champion. You were not. Your boy, Dwayne Mr. Wade, chuckled and laughed. And it's funny because your boy was the one who had the deciding vote. Big ups to Common. We'll get to him in a second. But that being said, what happened in that All-Star game and those activities and those things that were going was just amazing. It was one of those situations that we definitely felt led to what ended up being on Sunday night a very good All-Star game. So that started off with a performance from Common rapped Antetokounmpo, amazing, tribute to Kobe. Then it took off from there, a tip-off where everybody was single-handedly ready to go. Ready to bring that intensity, something you've never seen in an NBA All-Star game. People were high-fiving, people were screaming, people were cheering at three-pointers, people were engaged from the tip-off all the way to the game. The second quarter, Kyle Lowry took a charge. And took a charge, something you've never seen. Chris Paul had to be held back by LeBron James. He was so upset. And Anthony Davis upset. And by the end of the night, it ended with Kawhi Leonard winning the MVP. I thought that was fantastic. And what I say at that moment is, when it comes to a situation that is all about the NBA All-Star Game being so amazed and so great, we were entertained from the beginning to the end. There were moments that it felt like a playoff game. There were moments that it felt like the finals. And at the end of the day, that's what an all-star game is about. This is supposed to be a game about celebrity and superstardom. This is supposed to be a game that you want to watch. And guess what? I hope they keep the rules for next year, because next year I want to watch. The rules weren't complicated. They, in fact, added an intensity that you'd never seen from any other all-star game that I can remember. And at the end of the day, the teams played defense. And to me, that is truly amazing. So, I'm going to bring in Calvin, because guess what? Calvin, what did you think about the All-Star Game?
All right, so I think that the actual game was dope, right? So, and there was a lot of factors that played into that. I'm actually not too sold on the format, but I'm not against it either, right? So here's my reasoning for that. I believe that with the whole thing with Kobe and the players that were there this year, it made the format seem like it was really good. But I just want to see it a couple of years down the road. You know what I mean? I want to see if they could continue with that and see if people are going to continue to step up. Now, I do love the idea of them playing for charity.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
that was amazing.
I will agree, this was one of the most aggressive, in a good way, all-star games. You know, some people don't like the fact that it ended on a free throw. My thing is, play correct D, and it won't end on a free throw.
That was I 100% agree with you. It should. I don't care about it ending on a free throw. If somebody gives me free points, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I love the game. I'm not too sold on the format, but I'm not against it either.
I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things that I loved about it, and this is something that I'm going to segue into, there were so many moments. It was so hard for me to pick best and worst. So guess what we're going to do? What are we going to do, Calvin?
We're going to pick our best and worst.
I love it. So you're going to go first. What's the best and worst? Yeah. What was your best and worst, Calvin?
The best was the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter of the All-Star game was probably the best. That made everything, like, in a wrap-up, it was good. It wasn't dull. I didn't get up to go pee or get some popcorn and things like that. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of the other ones, you like, they gonna win. It doesn't even matter. Like, I was glued to there like it was a finals game, like you said. The worst, what the nepotism showed in the dang on dunk contest, man.
Yes, 100%. 100%. So this is what I'm going to tell you. So my best, I'm going to go, and this is something that it struggled with me because there were so many great moments this weekend. And I'm going to tell you, that fourth quarter was so intense. And that three-point contest, I didn't think Buddy Hield was going to win. I honestly, like, I'm sitting up there watching the three-point contest, and he literally won it on the last shot. Like, it came down to his very last money ball. I'm going to tell you, and that fourth quarter, amazing. I think that the most amazing moment was Common's tribute to Kobe and just his starting lineup. And don't get me wrong, there was 1A, 1B, and 1C. But Common, first of all, the fact that he found a word to rhyme with Antetokounmpo. What? That's the big ups to Common, because I don't think anybody, and I know other people have said it, but I don't think anybody thought I literally said, how is he going to rhyme Antetokounmpo? Like, how do you find a rhyme for that? Is a very complex name. It's a cool name, but I don't know. Guess what? He rhymed Antetokounmpo. And not only that, there was moments in his lyrics that I was just like, you are a poet forever. He's to the likes of William Shakespeare. He's one of the best poets in the history of mankind. And I thought about that, and I said, wow, this is so amazing. It gave me chills, and it got me amped up for the game, truthfully. And the game was fantastic. Like, I think Common's performance was 10 out of 10. The game was 9.9 out of 10, and then the three-point contest was 9.8 out of 10. So that was my best. Now, my worst, and you know where I'm going to go with this, because it's similar to what you said, but this is my this is my worst, and this is going to fall on the NBA, and we're going to say this, and I'll give you a chance to retort, and then after that, we're going to move on, because we got a lot to cover. But the fact that Tuesday before, on TNT, Dwayne Wade picked Miami. That was a moment that the NBA should have walked to him. Adam Silver should have said, Dwayne, we love you. You are an ambassador to this game. We want you at the All-Star game, but you're not going to be a judge. And here's the thing. I don't blame Dwayne Wade for what happened, because clearly Dwayne Wade saw his boy in the midst of a dead heat, and he said, you know what? I'm going to give my boy, my Miami boy, the trophy. And guess what? He did. Aaron Gordon's dunk over Taco Fall, he dunked over a 7'6" dude, okay? And the fact that it should have been all 50s, and at the very least, they both should have won. I didn't want a tie. I wanted a winner. I said they should have kept dunking until it was ready. But the fact that Dwayne Wade was the deciding vote, unbelievable.
You know what? I'm gonna agree, but I'm gonna also go a little bit deeper into that, right? And
Yeah.
I think that that's just kind of the thing about this new NBA, where everybody's so buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That people seem to not be able to be objective and look at it from just a basketball standpoint and be like, "Yo, that's my dude," but my man over here also killed it and he deserved it. So. I think that's just kind of a sign of the way things is shifting. I'm not saying I agree with it fully, but I think that's kind of just the sign of this new age basketball, man.
It's new age basketball. It's the friends. It's everything that you think. And guess what? Once again, I was a couple people that I spoke to. I was like, can we do for all the regular season games? Can we actually do that fourth quarter format? I know you didn't like the fourth quarter format. I thought it was exciting. I thought it made this game exciting, the intensity and it was almost like it got to a point where and you know, Brian, we actually spoke the other day about this, and his point that he didn't want this in regular season games is because if the Knicks were playing like the Lakers, they'd probably get blown out 24-0 in that fourth quarter. But
the Knicks don't be allowed to play a game of 21.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, basically. So what I'm gonna tell you right now is that is definitely one of the things that we are, I think, 100% worked. So we're moving on, and before we move on, once again, I said I'm going to get better with telling you guys, you out there in the land, please like, please share us, and follow us on social media at Fan2Fan Show. We want your subscriptions. If you can't do social media for whatever reason, I know that some people are like, social media is such a pain. We need the subscriptions to YouTube, so please do that. But in the meantime, you know what's happening this Saturday, Calvin?
Oh, yeah, baby. It's going down. Throwing hands.
We throwing hands? It's throwing hands. It is Tyson versus Wilder. Fury versus Wilder 2. Okay?
Y'all see me tearing things up.
Really?
Oh, my bad. Y'all wasn't supposed to see that.
Well, they're seeing that. This is. I don't know how many people are seeing it, but they are seeing you fight the screen. He's in virtual land, so he's fighting robots probably. That's what's happening. What I'm going to tell you is Fury versus Wilder is this Saturday. Now, the first thing I'm going to say right off the bat, hoping to get an interview with a personal friend of mine. I'm just going to leave it at that. If we do that, that is going to happen sometime before the fight. I'm hoping that he has time. He's a very busy man, family man, and running a business. Good guy. Miss him like crazy if he's watching. I hope he is. But definitely want to get that boxing expertise, and he is a boxing expert. But my feeling on boxing has been very convoluted. I was one of those guys back in the day that I used to watch Tyson. I saw Evander Holyfield, and I was watching George Foreman fight again after so many years. Floyd Mayweather, like I watched most of his fights. I loved Manny Pacquiao because he was a boxer. And then, you know, somewhere around the early 2010s, I said to myself, I don't want to watch boxing because I feel like boxing is predetermined and they don't admit it. Like wrestling is predetermined, but everybody knows it's predetermined. But boxing, it seems like, you know, when you don't have a guy on the top of the mountain that's getting those pay-per-views, because they need those pay-per-views. They don't have a streaming network or anything like that. When you don't have a boxing marquee name, you want to set up the promotion and you want to set up the storyline. And it's always like the perfect storyline. Like the guy who they want to win wins. And yes, there are every once in a while surprises, but for a while it just felt to me that it was all staged, and I lost a little faith. Now, what I'm going to tell you is, recently I've gotten back into it. Fury, it's been, I think, Fury versus Wilder, the first fight was pretty, like, a lot of people say that it shouldn't have been a draw. I saw I'm going to put up some pictures that basically, you know, this was the way the fight started. The fight started where, you know, where Fury is basically talking mess to him the whole time. There were some combinations, there were some jabs, there was definitely some good fights. And a lot of people said, you know, there's no way that Wilder loses this fight, and clearly Fury looks like he's getting his behind whooped. Like whooped. And everybody knows what ended up being the end result. We all thought it was going to be Wilder raising his hand in victory, and, you know, obviously, you know, anybody who knows or pays attention to boxing, it wasn't that. It ended up being a draw. And I think for a lot of people, that put a sour taste in their mouth. And I don't know about you, Calvin. I actually watched some of the fight, and I watched enough to know that this was the breakdown. The breakdown with all of this was that Fury landed more punches, but got knocked down twice. And in my opinion, when you get knocked down twice, I don't care how many times you get punches in. If the other guy's not going down and you're going down, guess what? You lost the fight. You went down twice. So a lot of people felt Wilder got robbed and he should have won the fight. Some people felt Fury should have won the fight. I don't see how that's possible. What are your thoughts on the matter?
Yo, so my uncle used to tell me this. There's a sweet science to boxing, nephew. Now, my uncle made it to the Golden Gloves and was a professional for a little bit. So that was a man that I took his advice seriously, right? So I watched a lot of the boxing with him. His favorite boxer was Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the greatest.
That's
right?
A good one.
So when I came up watching boxing, I used to just think it was two dudes that just stood in the ring, you know, and I know y'all saw me doing my little air boxing. I was just like, yo, I don't get it, because all these dudes is doing is punching each other, right? But then when my uncle started to break it down and told me, like, yo, look at the footwork, like, look how he's shedding the punch, you know what I'm saying? Like, the punches that you think is landing are not really landing. So just because the dude is throwing a lot of punches, don't. But, you know, so the science of it, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's kind of like art. It's kind of like artwork, like what Mayweather used to be before he became whatever he is now.
He's a dancer. That's what he is. He's an absolute dancer. He doesn't like to fight. And by the way, I just want to say really quick, that's the reason why I didn't like that Mayweather lost me when he ran away from Manny Pacquiao for 12 rounds and then still got the decision. He shouldn't have won that fight. But I digress. Continue.
Well, no, and I said that the other day. Remember when we was talking, and I was like, yo, there's a difference between being elusive and not letting the mug hit you. I get that point. Like, everybody get that, right? I ain't gonna let nobody punch me in the face just cause. But at the same time, like, you gotta box. Like, that's what it's called, right? It's called boxing. It's not called ducking.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody paid to see you duck for 12 rounds. But anyway, I'm gonna go back to the actual fight. I actually didn't mind it being a draw, because although he got knocked down twice, and the knock on Wilder, which I think that he's addressed in his fights, not just with talking, is that he's actually become a better boxer. So he was known for that massive right hand. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? So he kind of seemed like Drago in the beginning of Rocky IV, right? You know what I mean? Like, just sitting there, take it, just so I could hit that right. But with his last fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, the question was his stamina and things like that. Anyway, in the first fight, I think that's what it was more. You know, my man Tyson Fury was actually boxing more, right? He was boxing better. So I think that they were judging it from a technical standpoint and all the other stuff. Now you get points taken away when you hit the ground, right? Everybody gets playing until you get punched in the face.
Of course. And I'm going to tell you right now, and here's the thing, and this is the picture to me that's telling, is that picture that I'm showing right now. Mm-hmm. He is not just on the ground trying to get up. He's flat on his back. Like, if I didn't see the fight and I didn't know what was going on, I would swear this dude is knocked out and needs to be resuscitated, because at this point, dude is not, he doesn't look like he's getting up. Like, that's a problem.
Exactly. But the point is he did. And there's not too many people in Deontay Wilder's fighting history that gets up from a shot like that. So there's a lot to be said, you know what I mean, for the fact that he was able to not only get up, but still be able to box. Most regular dudes take a punch like that and be out like that. Man, you could cancel Christmas. They at least gonna throw in a towel or whatever. So, I mean, my man Fury got heart, but that first one was a draw. This next one is going to be interesting.
So wait a second. Hold on. You think that first one was a draw?
Yes.
So this is my point. So this is what I'm trying to say, and this is what I understand the beef or the discussion that people are going through. I get it. I get that they're like I said, Fury landed more punches but got knocked down twice. This is my point. So what about the fact that he's flat on his back? Yes, he got back up, but he's flat on his back. He's hurt. He's on the his shoulders are down for at least a couple seconds. Does that not help? This is what I believe. I believe my eyes. My eyes says that he got hit hard enough to get knocked down. Like, what do you say about that?
If you take enough punches, you're gonna fall, right? But here's the thing: a lot of people penalize people for getting knocked down. But boxing is just like any other sport. You got to finish. Let's say you hit 4 home runs in an inning in baseball, and you up by a lot. If by the 9th inning, the other people came back or whatever, you're going to have to go until somebody actually wins. And so what the thing is he showed that he had enough to knock him down. But unfortunately, when it's boxing and it comes time to judge, they're looking for your ability to finish. So if he wasn't punching and he just got up, like for me, this is me, if I'm judging. If he just got up off the ground and that was it, I'm going to be like, yo, you got a lot of heart, but you lost. But he was still able to continue to get in there, tag him, actually do some things, and he was actually like boxing. So for me, that was the thing. No, he didn't. I mean, he couldn't stay off the ground. But hey, you either got to knock that man down 3 times or beat him enough with your boxing skill. And at the time, Deontay Wilder didn't have enough boxing skill to do it.
I get you. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, 100%, and this is something for me that I believe, and it is something that I feel that is, you have a point. The boxing skill was there, and I feel like, okay, so this is what's going to happen. I feel like, and this is just me, and this is just something that I'm thinking about, I feel that he just, like, it wasn't nice the way he went off. It wasn't nice the way he did. It wasn't good the way he did what he did. So, we could agree to disagree, because I think that Wilder won that fight, maybe even by a narrow margin, but like to me, once you're knocked down, you're knocked down. But I want to play something for our audience that I think is going to help, because right after we watch this, I want to get Calvin's predictions. Now, we're trying something new here, technically, and my producer is going to throw something at my head because we're trying something new, and that makes her feel so great when we try new things. However, we're going to try something new, and I'm going to play, hopefully it will work, and if it doesn't work, and we'll know right away whether it works or not, it's basically the press conference that happened earlier yesterday that I think we have to show our audience. What do you think, Calvin?
Oh, nice. They're going to like this.
They're going to like this. I think let's see if this works. So, I thought we had the audio working. I wanted to show that because forget about what they were saying. There was nothing important that they were saying. I watched this earlier, and probably about a week ago, these guys were friends, and they were hugging, and they were like talking about how this is a great fight, and they're going to get some good money off of it, and everything was fine and dandy. And all of a sudden, in front of a crowd, they walk up to each other. First of all, looked like they needed to make out. They needed to like hug it out, needed to go into a room, get a room or something. Very like, oh, you know, hey, let's just go push, let's go do this, let's go do that. And then all of a sudden, it looks like, what did he say? Something about his mother or something? It went from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds. It's almost like a promoter whispered in his ear and say, bro, we gotta get like, we gotta fight, make people believe that this is real. And this is my problem with mainstream boxing. I'm not talking about Golden Glove tournaments. I'm not talking about tournaments that don't have media coverage. I'm not talking about boxers that are up and coming and that are training in the gym. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these dudes that are worth $35 million, $60 million, $100 million, that are making this type of money, and they have an obligation to the fans to put on a show. And what happens? They go from loving each other, hugging, showing all the respect, and all of a sudden at a press conference, they come out and it turns from we're staring at each other in the face, which, by the way, UFC does that before at every weigh-in, and they don't turn it into that. It's just mutual respect. Every once in a while, you get two people to hate each other genuinely, but then you don't get that. Boxing and this is my feeling. I'm gonna bring Calvin in on this, and this is opinion only. Obviously, I could be wrong. I don't have the inner workings to boxing. As we grow at Fan to Fan, there is a plan to go to these events, interview these boxers, and I will say it to their face. I will say it to the promoters. Are you guys promoting? Are you guys prepping it up bigger than what it is? Because that is a question I always wanted to ask these guys. I don't know if they'll tell me the truth. I don't know if they'll say this is just part of the game. But my opinion is that when the fight is a little dull, or maybe the pay-per-view buys aren't looking as big as they normally could be or projected to be. There are marketing departments and sales departments and promotion departments that are handling this. All of a sudden, you get a fight between the two guys. All of a sudden, they're pushing each other. All of a sudden, things are getting aggressive. And guess what? It's not like it used to be back when Tyson was fighting, where if he got into a brawl, there was no amount of bouncers that were stopping him. And I'm talking about Iron Mike Tyson. That was scary. That was like, wow, this could be really real. Somebody's going to get hurt. It's not like what we saw in the movie Creed, where right before the main fight, dude gets into a fist fight and breaks the dude's jaw. That didn't happen. None of that happened. It's just pushing, shoving. I'm going to get you next time. I'll get you next time. I'll get you next time. And then that's what ends up happening. Here's the bottom line. This was something that I don't know what happened, but 1 minute they're friends, the next minute they're not. And it seemed very contrived, in my opinion. What say you to that, Calvin?
Now, I will say this, just like I alluded to in basketball earlier, I do think that overall there's just a general sense of where people are more friendly in general, right?
Yes.
And they don't have that competitiveness to like, you wasn't going to see Mike Tyson and whoever he was getting ready to knock out.
Yep.
You know, just hugging and all that other stuff, right?
Yep.
They might have said whatever they said in separate interviews. And I think that. Now, I will say about this particular fight,
yeah,
I know from watching Tyson Fury, he's nice, but he's also about playing those mind games with people and getting into their head and all that other stuff.
Yes,
now,
which isn't going to work here because this guy knows him.
Deontay Wilder is a beast, first of all. Like, if you listen to his interviews and all that other stuff, this man is a beast. He has nothing but respect. That this is what he says for his opponents, but he also wants to slaughter them.
Yes.
There was a quote he had one time where he was like something to the effect of he's allowed to legally murder somebody in the ring because of the brutal nature of boxing and what it could be. Not that he was looking to do it, right?
Although who knows with Tyson Fury, but I don't think he's looking to do it. That's a family man, so no, he doesn't want to go to jail. Yeah. But yeah.
But I mean, so at the same time, there's that sense of you could talk all this all you want to, and I think at the time, you know what I mean, just from my sense of it and just my understanding and opinion as a fan,
yeah.
After a while, what I'm saying? Like with all of that noise, and yeah, I'm gonna push you off of me too if you're getting all up in my space. He probably didn't use his Colgate that day.
So you think it was real?
I think that Fury was given more hype to it. You know what I mean? For the play of it.
Okay.
I think Deontay Wilder was after a while like, all right, you do your little jawing, but after a while he was like, hey man, get out my face, like.
Makes sense.
He one of the only real ones.
Understood. So, but forgive for we have a little connection problem, but we're hoping that the connection fixes itself. So, this is what I'm going to say. What's your prediction for this Saturday? Give me what's the outcome and how long it's going to go, and give me all of that.
Wilder's a beast. Fury's no slouch, but I think, like I said, I think that Wilder has stepped up his game when it comes to actual boxing and technique. I've seen that a lot more, so he's more than just the right hand. I think he's going to have too much for Tyson Fury, and I'm going to say right around probably round 7, a TKO for Wilder.
Okay, so Wilder's winning. This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to go Wilder, and I think it's going to go to about the 10th or 11th round. And I think Fury, because he's saying he's in the best shape of his life. That's what I heard. So I think this is what was going to happen. I think 10th, 11th round, Wilder's going to knock him down, knock him out. Fury's not winning this. And there's something else I want to add to a caveat that multiple people that I know have kind of told me, sources that I have, are basically saying that Fury is really, really looking to sign a multi-year contract with WWE. I say that now because finally, that is our perfect segue, because finally, we are going to do a segment on AEW versus NXT. It is our first wrestling segment ever. It took us 4 weeks to do it. We're finally going to do it. Let's hope that the internet connection for where Calvin's at sustains, because I need him a part of this. We are both avid wrestling fans, and I need him a part of this. We really are. But before we do that, I want to say really quick, and I want to throw this out there. I really need you guys to like us, share us, and subscribe to us. That would be great, because if you could do that, it'll help us tremendously in everything that we're doing. Subscriptions are how we're going to grow, and there's so many things that we want to do. First of all, the Mets are playing in Puerto Rico. We'd love to go down there and cover that. We need subscribers to motivate us to do that. There's so many games that we're going to cover. We're actually going to be at Met this Saturday after Mets opening season. I'm pretty sure we're going to be there doing interviews. So if anybody's going to a Mets game that Saturday, I think it's April 1st or 2nd. I'll get the more specific days coming up. We're going to be there, and we would love anybody watching to come out, get on camera, do some interviews, and that's what we're going to do there. So like us, share us, and subscribe to the channel. Now. I'm going to put something up that I think you guys just need to see. And first, little graphic that I got here that I think is very important, because this is something I am deeming, and many people have deemed it, but I'm deeming the Wednesday Night Wars. Everybody knows, who's a wrestling fan, what the Monday Night Wars were. You remember the Monday Night Wars, right, Calvin?
Oh, I definitely do.
I think it was the golden age in wrestling. Here's the thing. We got the Wednesday Night Wars, but I'm going to tell you right now, the Wednesday Night Wars have looked pretty one-sided for the last couple of weeks. Because right now, I have a graphic up there that basically shows a dominant run for AEW, and I have a theory on this. And putting that up there, I just want people saying, I want to actually put back the logo for the two brands, because some people don't know who AEW is. People know that NXT is run by WWE. Up until about 6 months ago was the developmental league for WWE, and now September, moving to the USA Network, which is a big media outlet. This is a big, you get ratings, you got shows, you got major stars on USA. They're on Wednesday nights from 9 to 11, I believe. And essentially, they're losing to AEW. AEW is not developmental. AEW has the faces that they have. AEW is the alternative to SmackDown and Raw, even though they are not going head to head. I feel like they'll get to that point, but NXT was always developmental until a few months ago. And guess what? Now, I think this prompted them. I think this was the thing that prompted, NXT saying we got to get more people that are mainstream rosters to be there. So, Calvin, and I'm going to pose this to you, and I got my own state on it. You're looking at a demographic that basically shows going back to, the new year, 8 straight weeks, 6 straight weeks? And by the way, there were many weeks before that. There was one week where I think they did very well, but there's 8 straight weeks of just numbers dominance in the television ratings that are happening. So what do you think is causing that? Because right now, AEW seems to be winning.
I believe, just like the Monday Night Wars back in the day, and I'm not saying history is going to repeat itself here. So anybody that knows the Monday Night War saying the outcome is going to be the same, but I believe that especially starting off, part of the reason is, like me, people were sick and tired of WWE giving stale product, right?
Of course.
Not pushing people who had talent, burying some people, right? I mean, let's be real, pushing Brock Lesnar too far and Roman Reigns. It seemed like if it wasn't those two dudes, right, it was nothing. So AEW consists of smart, talented wrestlers who have a great business mind, right? And who were not afraid to go out, listen to what they felt the fans wanted, implement things, and stick with a strategy. So you had good storytelling, you had good actual wrestling, you had great announcing, which plays a part in all of it, right? And I think part of it was people being sick of WWE. At the same time, they were looking forward to the names and the quality of what was going on with AEW. And there you go. It's just like the analogy about the Super Bowl, right? Everybody might have been rooting against the Patriots, so they wanted anybody else to win.
Of course.
When the Patriots versus the Falcons, it wasn't really Falcons fans, and I'm not trying to disrespect AEW, but there was a lot more people that just didn't want the Patriots to win. And it's kind of like that now, like anything but WWE if you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah, because WWE over the last decade and a half really hasn't had any competition. There was that run of TNA Impact. That TNA Impact was pushing them. They actually went up. It was so funny. I was very excited because I thought it was going to be Monday Night Wars 2. It was around 2009. That was when Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, and they had Bully Ray and the Aces and Eights storyline. And they went up 3 weeks in a row, Monday Night Raw, and got trounced. And when I tell you people that see a demographic of the ratings, there was probably about 4.5 million people watching Monday Night Raw. Only about 500,000 watched Impact Wrestling. It was really bad. Hogan was actually running the management style, in the storyline. And that being said, now I 100% agree with you. We flashed some people on there, and I'm just going to go through them again because there's some people that might not know. AEW is brand new. If you know New Japan Wrestling, you definitely know who some of these people are. But like this guy right here, Kenny Omega, he's the #1 wrestler in the world 3 years running. And not a lot of people know him because he's been wrestling in Japan for the last 8 years. People know this guy because he's Cody Rhodes. He was in WWE for a while. The son of American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and a lot of people in the 80s who were fans of the 80s know him. People know this guy, Dean Ambrose, because he's been in WWE for 7 or 8 years before last year. And then, of course, you know this guy because he's one of the most famous wrestlers and probably one of the best of all time in Chris Jericho. And I'm talking about the guy in the middle. I love the way Santana right there, Ortiz is sticking out his tongue right there. He's so great. But this is what, and then when you go to NXT pretty much goes out and they have, developmental wrestlers that you don't know. This is Matt Riddle. Not a lot of people know. If you don't watch NXT, you don't really know him. Keith Lee, I love him. He is a great talent, great personality, does ridiculous moves. The fact of the matter is when you say Keith Lee to people, people are like, who? And I'm talking about wrestling fans. I'm talking about WWE fans that don't watch NXT, and there are some. Tommaso Ciampa. This dude is one of the most hardcore bad A people in the entire wrestling world. But guess what? A lot of people don't know. Developmental, NXT. And then you get, these guys who they don't scare me at all. Like, these dudes are like tiny and boyish looking and they look like 19-year-old boys. And when I think about faction, I think about wrestlers, and I think these guys it's just like, whoa. So what did they do? They decided, okay, we're going to bring Finn Balor, who Finn Balor is. We're going to bring him to NXT. That did a spike in the ratings the first couple of weeks. It actually gave AEW a run for their money. Didn't work. It didn't bring them to what it is. Another person who's become talented, Triple H runs NXT, and he's promoting the younger wrestlers, the guys and girls that have talents. Rhea Ripley just won that title off of one of Ronda Rousey's best friends. And guess what? She's a talent. She's amazing. But do you know who Rhea Ripley is? Do many people know who Rhea Ripley is? No, because they're not watching developmental. People are watching SmackDown and Raw. So what do they do to hype her up? They bring in Charlotte Flair, who, if you don't know Charlotte Flair, you're not a wrestling fan. Everybody knows who Charlotte Flair is. Charlotte Flair, until WrestleMania, is going to be in NXT and Raw. And that's the issue. You look at AEW and you look at NXT, and it's NXT with a bunch of no-names. And AEW has their no-names, but what they did was they said, we're gonna take Dean Ambrose and we're gonna poach him. And Jim Ross is announcing. We know who Jim Ross is. Jim Ross has been around since the 90s. And we're going to take Tony Schiavone, former voice of WCW. And then we're going to put the belt on Chris Jericho, which, there's people like, I've literally talked to people that don't know wrestling, and they know who Chris Jericho is because they know Dancing with the Stars, Chris Jericho. They know Chris Jericho that's been on talk shows. They know Chris Jericho who's been on a bunch of things. That's who they know. AEW has mainstream talent. And by the way, we watch AEW. Me and my girlfriend watch AEW, and we can't fast forward. We try to fast forward with AEW, and we're like, wait, we want to see that. That looks exciting. You can't do it. WWE, there's parts, and I'm talking about Monday Night Raw. There's parts where we fast forward where we're just like, what is going on? This is the most boring thing ever. And it just happens over and over and over again. WWE not really booking their talents the way they should. And then people get sick of it, so they want competition. And we all know competition, especially here at Fan to Fan, competition makes you say, I want to watch. Don't you think?
Yes, definitely. So I will say this, because I am an NXT fan.
You are, but are other people?
I don't know, but this is what I will say as an NXT fan. Right, is you had to have known New Japan Wrestling also, because Finn Balor was in New Japan with Chris Jericho, right? Kenny Omega, people like that. Ricochet, good indie talent. So what Triple H was doing is what they were accusing WWE of not doing before, right? Is looking over the indie guys, and then the indie guys got big, and they were going to other factions, and then a lot of them did AEW because. Which, by the way,
I just want to say, they didn't have factions for a while, for a long time. They needed factions. Now they have plenty all over the place.
Yeah. So it seems like NXT has taken a lot of previous indie people who actually have talent, and whatever Triple H and Shawn Michaels, matter of fact, mostly all the DX is down there, aren't they?
I swear to God, because Road Dogg Jesse James is he's a coach down there. He's a coach and a producer. Yeah. So yeah, so DX is running NXT. I wonder how that could be good. And by the way, NXT is probably the best WWE product right now, and I'm talking out of everything. So that's amazing.
So I will say this: I think that what Triple H is not worried about, I believe, is so much fully what AEW is doing, and he's not even worrying about what SmackDown and Raw is doing. He's doing what NXT is doing, right? Because he doesn't have the traditional babyface heel matches where it's either heel always win, or babyface always win. You know what I mean? And then it's predictable that the babyface is going to win at all of the pay-per-views and all this other stuff. They mix it up. People lose belts on regular shows at times, right? People turning on people. Look at the long feud between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, where, spoiler alert, now it seems like anyway, Johnny Gargano's the bad guy.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's a long feud, dude. That's like over a year.
That's true.
So I think that what I honestly feel from when I watch it, a little bit biased, but a little bit just being a wrestling fan for 35 years. That's a long time. Is that Triple H is just taking what he had, seeing what works, and making it work.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, right? He doesn't have all just baby faces and all just heels. He got people intertwining with people and all that other stuff. I think he's just trying to do what he could, not keep kayfabe completely, because he had to add the social media piece to that. And I know we might have a part where we're talking about that. And I know a lot of people that's watching have their views about wrestling, but he's having to take what was given to him and make the best product out of it. And I think ultimately he's going to rival AEW in what they're doing in a way.
What are you saying? Who's going to rival AEW in a way?
Triple H, specifically NXT.
Okay, gotcha.
Because he doesn't have to fully worry now about, like, oh, I can give this dude the belt, but then they're going to take him over to Raw or SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like, in building NXT to be a third brand and not just developmental anymore, he can actually keep talent.
Yes, and this is the thing, and I want to tell you right now, I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with the fact that this talent is going to be something that is going to be amazing, and it's going to be something that is going to be, I think, the Monday Night Wars, the Wednesday Night Wars are going to get better and better. I think as NXT grows and they start doing bigger arenas and there's louder crowd pops, I think the characters there, the developments there, I've said it a million times, and I'm going to say this, the state of WWE, and we will do something coming up, the state of, that's a whole nother situation. But I'm going to tell you right now, and this is what I feel. Vince McMahon created this. Vince McMahon created this industry. He created it, it was there, but he revolutionized it. He is a pioneer. Everything that is WWE is his. But the day that he retires, or knock on wood, passes away, it'll be a sad day. But at the end of the day, I think WWE will take a major step forward in the evolution. And by all means, hope that he lives for another 10 to 15 years, because you don't wish anybody to die or anything like that. But he's getting up there in age. So it's just being honest that there is going to come a point in time where he could. I will say that the day that he moves on for whatever reason, or starts running the XFL full time or whatever the case, I think Raw, SmackDown, and NXT are going to get so much better, and you're going to see some better storylines, better character development, and there's going to be people that are going to get better chances. Drew McIntyre is getting that chance now, but people like him are going to get those chances. So, look, I don't think it's any time it's going to happen. I don't think any time are we going to have this situation where we are going to have a situation that is going to be better. I think it's going to only get better, but I don't think it's going to have a situation where I think we're over with the dumbness. I think they're starting to learn their lesson. AEW is teaching them, hey, you cannot take us for granted, because they're beating them. And what happens for those who don't know, in the media business, when you beat television shows in the ratings, you get more advertising dollars. And the more money you make, the more you could spend on production, arenas. The one thing that is happening, and I want to get your opinion on this really quick, because we do have to move on. There's a report, and it's not confirmed, but there are multiple reports that major metropolitan area arenas, Barclays being one of them, are not giving AEW the time of day because they're afraid it's going to affect their relationship with WWE, because they make a lot of money when those WWE shows come in. They don't want to have that situation. If that's true, what do you say to that?
I don't think that they're going to be able to keep AEW out forever, right? And I think that there are other ways besides Barclays and all the other stuff. If they keep on putting on good quality products like they've been doing, building up their own relationships, I think they won't really have anything to worry about, because like you say, man, the numbers are speaking for themselves. Like, I know I'm so pro NXT and all the other stuff, but trust me, I'm a fan of AEW. I love what they're doing. I love their talent development and all the other stuff. I think they got great minds. And I think they also understand, because of where they came from and how they're American, for the most part, or North American, if you want to say it like that, wrestlers, but they've had success overseas. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't limit themselves to like a Barclays or a Staples Center, and they start taking it overseas and doing some things.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And by the way, this is just me, and I'm going to put this out there. Impact Wrestling did it a few years ago. Coney Island, forgot the baseball team that played there, and I actually tried out for them when I was 24. The Cyclones, the Brooklyn Cyclones. Oh my God. Cyclone Stadium was actually a very good wrestling venue. It was packed, and everybody came to see them. Also, let's go to the ballroom. Let's go to Manhattan Civic Center, do the ECWs of the old days. And by the way, there's so many other places. Let's do the Nassau Coliseum. Let's do, there's so many things. We need to get AEW to New York. If we get AEW to New York, we're definitely going to go to that. We're definitely going to be covering that and putting interviews. What happened?
And by the way, Impact Wrestling is trash. My bad.
You're just mad because the woman has the belt. That's why. Because we talked about this, and you don't agree that she should have got the belt.
That way, yes, I do not.
Yeah. Why don't you agree with that? Just so that people don't think that that you're like a woman hater, because you're not. You're very not. You're very nice to women. Why don't you think she should have got the belt?
Don't get me wrong. I think that there are a lot of talented women in general, and this has nothing to do with anything outside of that. But it to me, the rise was less to do with wrestling, and they're trying to do something that nobody else is doing. It seems unbelievable. So here's the deal. So she beat Sami Callihan, which is, I guess, more believable that she did it. But like, she went through Brian Cage.
Yes.
And if people don't know who Brian Cage is, Google this dude, scripted or not. Come on. She beat that dude to get to be able to do the belt. And now she's fighting the Impact champion, and she's in a feud with this little dude. Yeah, it makes sense because of who she is, but like, it just takes away from all this other stuff. What's the point of the women's division also when now the woman is right? So does that mean other women should now be fighting for the big belt? It just makes it too much, man.
I'm going to tell you right now. I think that other women can and should. I think that it has to be believable. Are we going to believe that a woman is going to take out the Big Show? Even Nia Jax as she's tough, she's big, and she's proud to be big, and she should be. She's, more power to her. She is a strong woman. Yeah. Could she take out the Big Show? I don't know. No. One of the most exciting WWE moments for me in the last 5 years was Nia Jax in that Royal Rumble, where she eliminated Ali and then got super kicked, 619, and then RKO'd out of the ring. That was fantastic, and she said later on that was one of her best moments. She loved it. It was exciting. Look, if women are going to want equality, they're going to have to go, Charlotte could take out a dude. Ronda Rousey could take out some dudes. Nia Jax could take out some dudes. There's women that have been beating people up twice their size since the beginning of time. I'm all for the equal opportunity. When she won that match, I saw the match. It was actually, I thought it was well done. They had a previous match that was better, but it was well done. They have a rivalry. I just want to know who's going to take the belt off her, because at some point in time, she's going to have to lose that belt. And how are you going to do that? Is it going to be another woman, or is it going to be another man that maybe is, these little X-Division dudes that she's messing with right now? So
Yeah.
I look, it's a touchy subject. I thought it was really cool. We had an article on it on the Fan to Fan Instagram page, and I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a big step. Women are doing a lot of things, and that segues me perfectly earlier today, and I'm just going to give a couple of news briefs because we don't always do this, but I am going to do this really quick. Earlier today, the New York Yankees hired a baseball coach in their minor league system who is a woman, and she is a professional softball player. She has a master's degree in conditioning and strengthening. So she knows baseball. They hired her. I think it's an amazing thing. I basically say that the more women get a chance to coach, I think we saw it with the 49ers women coaching. The more women get a chance to coach, the more I think men are going to start to shape up, because I think men are acting a little foolish when they get the money and they get the sports and the fame, and they don't know how to act. They get a woman around who's a coach, they might respect her a little bit more, you hope, right? So I think that's a really good thing. And there was a couple of people, and this will segue into the fan interaction because I want to see if we got any good comments. There were a couple people that said, why are we not talking about the Astros today? One, I think for me, the Astros, I don't think anything else is going to happen. I think it frustrates me to no end, and we had several players talk about it. Next week, we might go into that a little bit, especially if there are new developments, but I don't think there's going to be no developments. I think that the fact that LeBron James came out and sent that tweet, which was an amazing, amazing tweet. I thought it was awesome that he said, hey, I'm an athlete and cheaters can't be, basically, I'm paraphrasing, I'm an athlete, cheaters can't be taken seriously, and something needs to be done. Mr. Manfred, you got it wrong. He did get it wrong. And he apologized, but if you apologize, you have to get it wrong. You have to fix it. And I don't think he's trying to fix it. I think he says, I got it wrong, but we're not going to touch it anymore. Look, they gave up draft picks. They gave up a $5 million fine, which when you think about a franchise that's won the championship in the last couple of years, $5 million isn't that much, but hey, it's something. And their manager, general manager, and a player who used to be there, or bench coach, got fired, let go, and people are losing their jobs. No players were suspended. I've said it a million times. Anybody who was in that situation, should have been suspended. I didn't get your take on this. What do you think about that?
While I think that the ball was dropped overall, the problem that you run into now is trying to backtrack to fix what you didn't do the first time is going to come into double jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
And so there's never a need to double punish or whatever the case may be, even if you got it wrong. Moving forward, I don't know what you do, but I do think that they grossly misplayed it, or if that's not the right word that I'm trying to use, but they mishandled. Sorry, they grossly mishandled it by not holding players culpable or responsible of this. We're talking about grown men, at least from the standpoint of able to know between right and wrong. So even when people make the argument that stealing signs has been in there since the inception of baseball, it kind of has. And I get it. You got to switch your game up. Don't get caught. I get that part. Like, naturally, that's just kind of a way that it went.
Yeah.
To go so far as to install all of this other stuff. And I'm not saying that the Astros may be the only one to do it.
But other people did it. Other people did it.
Caught, right? But you got caught, and you did it in such a way and on such a grand scale that it gave you a definitive advantage, in my viewpoint, because you're professional athletes that got, and you have an understanding. We're not talking about me and you playing baseball, and if you tell me, yo, I'm about to throw you a fastball at 90-something miles per hour, I'm not skilled enough, right?
Yeah.
Or even young enough to go, yo, I need to hit it at this point when he releases it, right, and shorten it up this much. Even if I know it, I can't do it. They condition for all of this stuff, right?
Yes, of course.
So to know it beforehand, you might as well be lobbing it out in a home run derby.
And that's true. That's true. And that's the whole part about this sucks, is that they just, like, look, if they don't suspend any more players and no more punishment comes from it, I'm going to be like, and I think Stephen A. Smith had something yesterday that I thought was really great. I love him so much. And he basically said that any team that goes to play the Astros, when they come out, instead of shaking their hand, you don't shake their hand, you just turn your back on them. And every team should do that. And you know what? It's been universal. Aaron Judge said he took down some tweets congratulating them from 2017. Love Aaron Judge. Bottom line is that this team is, hopefully they'll be trashed this year and they'll miss the playoffs and that'll be good. So really quick, want to wrap up. We had a couple of people that put some things in the chat. We got some predictions that got a person saying that Fury's going to go down in the 7th round. A lot of fun. As always, Walter, you are amazing. I love you so much. Fury, excuse me, Andre. Andre. I hope I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I am horrible with names.
I think it's
Andre. Okay. Fury knockout in the 9th. I love that. I think that, it is really, that's what's going to happen. One of the things that we're going to start plugging in the next couple of weeks is that we are definitely want people to watch and be in the chat. Hopefully next week, it will be me and Calvin again next week. No Brian next week. Brian will be back in 2 weeks. Brian is also going to be going to a soccer game next week that we were trying to go to. Alas, could not go to. However, he is going to be getting some interviews with the fans that we're going to be able to hopefully show the following show when he is there, so he could talk about the experience. NYCFC is going to be playing at Red Bull Arena. That's going to be something that we're going to talk about. There's some political implications there. The other thing that we're going to talk about is that by then I believe the CONCACAF league is going to be championship. Right. I said it right? I know. Look at that. I'm getting to get better with these names. That is going to have wrapped up by then, I believe, in 2 weeks. I believe that is the case. Champions League also will be wrapped up, so we want to get some updates from that. I want to say I want to thank everybody for watching. Walter, you are great. I want to thank Andre. It's just Dre. Gotcha. Dre. I want to thank you for watching and being involved in the chat. Anybody who's involved, anybody who's watching, anybody who's out there, when you come, put some stuff in the chat, because the chat is actually part of the experience. We're actually going to start advertising that. We're working on a few promo videos to entice people to chat when they can. In the meantime, next week, we got some fun stuff coming, because I definitely want to tackle, haven't spoken about this yet, Calvin, but I'm going to put this teaser out there.
All right.
I want you to start thinking about who's your MVP for the NBA, because we haven't even mentioned who should be the MVP of the league right now. Okay, so we don't want to say who it is right now. We're going to put that teaser out there. I'm also, and this is the thing I also want to do, we're going to talk about the Wilder fight, because we're going to watch that. We're going to see who won the fight. Calvin, you said 7th round? That's what you said?
7th round TKO.
TKO, I said 10th or 11th. I'm going to go 11th round. I'm actually going to say 11th round Wilder. We're both picking Wilder for that one. Should be pretty fun. Anything you want to say to the people before we leave?
You know what? As always, y'all make it fun. I appreciate all of y'all always giving your input. I can't speak for nobody else, but hit me up on social media, either through the fan to fan pages that we have on IG, Facebook, and things like that.
At fan to fan.
Yep. At fan to fan show.
Yep.
Right. That's
correct.
You can get on my personal Calvin Bringfield Jr. on Facebook. Easy Breezy 80 on Instagram. Hit me up, man, if y'all got if y'all want to continue the discussion or things like that, man. I'll just love to interact with y'all. But other than that, man, appreciate y'all always. Much love. And that's where we're gonna leave it right there, because I feel like leaving it there with much love is good. So this is what I want to say to everybody who joined. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please make sure you like and share the page. Once again, follow us on social media at Fan2Fan Show. That is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, the same thing. The other thing I want to say is thank you so much for being engaged. We always try to put content out there that nobody else is talking about, or we give a different spin or a different opinion. You follow us, you subscribe, we grow, we cover more, we get to have better opinions and bigger opinions. So thank you very much. Peace out to everybody. Be safe and enjoy sports always. Have a good night. Peace.